My name is Mabato Seiso. So how do I earn my living? I do group coaching for women, so I focus on facilitating self-development for women. I'm a professional speaker, and lately I've been getting involved in deals as a deal facilitator. I was telling somebody I was in Nigeria recently, so deals, ladies, that's where the money is. Country of origin, originally from Lesotho, but this has been my home for a very long time. What do I admire about women in my country? They have chutzpah, resilience. Thank you.
Oh, the request is stand up because the photo can't see you, or the camera can't see you.
Morning. My name is Alia Nasruddin from Palestine, and I'm head of human resources manager in a pharmaceutical company that my dad established in '47. It's one of the leading company in making medicine. Women in my country are amazing. They do a lot. They're mothers of, they run their families by doing embroidery, by working in the field, by doing any crafts they do. They raise men, good men. And I don't know what to say because this is fast, but I'm happy to be here. Thank you, Dudu, for hosting us. And the only thing that I'm happy about here is that whatever the program did to us, whatever knowledge it added to us, it just made us know each other. And heart to heart. Thank you.
Got my lines. Good morning, ladies. My name is Tandiwe Somi and married to Mr. Horoge. South African actress. Please watch Long Walk to Freedom coming out the 28th of November. My husband and I there play Albertina and Walter Sisulu. Okay, country of origin, believe it or not, born in Ohio. My dad is a theologian, so he was studying in Ohio and raised proudly South African. What I admire most about, oh my goodness, we're the greatest storytellers, hence my chosen profession. We just need better platforms, better supported platforms to be able to tell the beautiful South African story that we have. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bilala Kanye. 2 years ago, I became a Mabuza. What I do for a living could be very long, but I'll stick to one sentence. The primary role, I work in the human capital space. My average day is sitting with mostly women as clients and looking at where they are in their careers, alternatives that they're looking at, and whether they want to stick to careers or it's entrepreneurial route that they want to go. So that's what I do for a living, a great part of the time. The rest will stay for another day. I am South African, born and bred, and I could not have been more proud. What I like about the women of this country is the spirit of the South African women. I think they embody the collective good. We travel a lot, we go everywhere, but every time you land at OR, you are home, and it's in the women's faces. Thank you.
Good morning, my name is Pindile Kabela, South African born, and what it is that I do for a living, I run a media company 13 years later called Dreamcatcher Multimedia. So we do events, conferencing, and PR. And then recently, we started importing beef from Botswana. So we have another company called Organic Beef. So I'm learning a lot about a lot of things, like, negotiating in a different way. And what do I love about the women in our country is perseverance. We persevere, we are strong, we are brave. That's one thing that I enjoyed the most about us. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Nontokozo Matansela. I'm not related to I respect it a lot. Usually when I'm asked this question, I'm like, it depends, and I'm gonna be in trouble. But I also do several things. I've recently left corporate. I launched my beauty business in Parkhurst on 4th Avenue. But additionally, I consult in marketing, and I'm just finishing off a project at Vodacom. Pindi is my guardian angel, a sister, a friend. We do a lot of work together. And what I love about South African women, I think we're just the caring, mothering, loving, regardless of your age. That's what I love about South African women.
Morning, everyone. My name is Farai Mangwende. I'm from Zimbabwe. My profession is corporate communications. My current space that I'm in is insurance, so Sanlam was great, learning a lot of things. I work for First Mutual in Zimbabwe, second largest group after Old Mutual. I've traveled a lot, lived in Europe and in Africa, and for me, Africa remains home. What I love about Zimbabwean women is their can-do attitude, and I think in Africa we use this word a lot. In South Africa they call it ubuntu, in Zimbabwe we call it hunu, which is the Shona equivalent of it. And these women will do anything for their children and to raise the country, including taking a back step if it's the right thing to do. That's what I admire the most about them.
Hello, my name is Lebu Biko. What do I do for a living? I am a marketing and a business strategy professional with an absolute passion for defining value propositions and helping organizations and people define why they exist. At the moment, I work in financial services, so that's why I'm like, people always say, am I defining myself as a banker or not? I'm not really. I'm a strategy professional in a banking environment, so I work for Nedbank in business strategy for the mid-sized businesses, which is business banking. I'm from here, from South Africa, born and bred in Soweto, so I'm excited that we're taking the ladies there this afternoon. And what I love most about South African women, I think a lot of it has been said, but I think it's the ability to be resilient, which is one of those things across very many hardships. I think as we've traveled the South African journey of freedom and empowerment and etc., the South African women are still coming up, even though they're still a step behind. And there's this resilience that we have. And this ability also to excel in very many areas that we're in, whether you're a mother, whether you're a professional, etc., etc. So I love that about the rainbowness of the South African women that we have.
In this audience, I have a business that is niche focused on workplace ethics, which I don't think South Africa's cornered the market on the need for that, but I mean, I think we all have some need of that. In terms of South African women, you know, I think a lot has been said, so I'll add another dimension. I think that in South Africa particularly, we encompass diversity so extraordinarily well, and I think it's well represented here. That inclusiveness that I don't want to now be favourites about in terms of saying women are better, but I'll just suggest it. That truly that encompassing diversity, being comfortable with it and valuing it, for me is a huge strength of the women of this country. So thank you.
Good morning, my name is Lara Ayub. I'm from Jordan, born in England, but I lived most of my life in Jordan. I wear two hats right now. For the last 13 years, I've been working in the media as a digital media consultant. Actually, right now I'm a consultant, but before I was running the first independent newspaper online in Jordan. And then when I became a mother, I realized that women participation is only 14% in Jordan, so it's one of the lowest in the world. So I set up an NGO after coming back from the mentorship program in the States. And this NGO aims to advocate for creating work-friendly environments for working women in Jordan, to try and raise this by setting up daycare centers for women to be able to take their children to their workplace. What I admire most about the women of my country, they're very smart, they're very resilient, dedicated, motivated, inspired, and most importantly, they give back to the community, they contribute, and they seek new ways of discovering, innovating and discovering new ideas to keep themselves going in the community. And I'd like to leave you with a quote I learned from the US State Department back in 2010 by Anne Maria Slaughter, when she said, "Family comes first and work comes together, not second." And I always go back to that quote when I get stuck somewhere between the Pampers and the and the meetings. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Tara Filadrotoe. What do I do for a living? I founded the #1 indigenous beauty company in Nigeria 16 years ago. I just gave you an opportunity to give me a round of applause. You can take the autographs later. My country of origin is... Yes.
And you must say there's a shade called Dudu.
Oh yes, actually there's a shade of one of our products called Dudu. You don't miss the opportunity. I'm from Nigeria, born and raised in Nigeria, very proud of Nigeria as a country. And as you know, in 2010 when I was in the US, I always made the point to re-emphasize about how fabulous Nigeria is and how the general reputation of Nigeria is very untrue to a large extent. And I stand here today as one of those examples of how Nigeria is so different from the way people see it. What do I admire about the Nigerian women? There are too many things that I've said already about how Nigerian women raise great men. My husband is a great man. He was raised by a beautiful woman, Nigerian woman. And I'm raising my sons to be amazing men as well. But I think from the entrepreneurial point of view, recently I was in China and I got off the plane and I noticed that majority of the people who were coming off the plane were Nigerian women. We're coming to China to do business. They're not generally praised, and a lot of people don't realize, but many of the Nigerian women who I've met, because I'm an entrepreneur, so somehow you're attracted to other entrepreneurs. I've seen so many of them grow their businesses from very little, without financing, and not getting the opportunities that a lot of men get, and they build big businesses. And people don't know how much their turnovers are, and they underestimate them, but I see that dedication also in their business, the same dedication they have in raising their children, and that's what I think is most amazing. Thank you very much.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tembisa Machele from South Africa. And I'm one of those women, when you ask them what they do, they go, like most of you here. I'm a media and communications practitioner and also head of communications for the Financial Services Board here in South Africa. And what I admire about the women of my country is what I admire about women, period. And that is the ability to just make things happen. If you were to go around the room today and ask these women here today what they had to go through to be here, you will find some interesting stories of just some challenges that probably came through, people that didn't sleep, but they made it. And it's just that chutzpah, that ability to just say, you know what, it's gonna happen, and if it's gonna happen, a woman's gonna do it. Good morning, everyone. My name is Wilma Mokupo. I was born in Itusen in Lichtenburg district to a midwife at the time. When my mother gave birth to me, she was visiting family there. I'm very proud to be South African. I believe that my upbringing as well as my family truly reflect the rainbow nation and the diversity of our country. So some of the history with my grandmother was that when my granddaddy and her fell in love, he was an Afrikaner farmer and she was a black South African woman. And you can imagine the stress, because when the Group Areas Act came into being, and there was no marriages allowed across racial lines. So my grandfather, Martinus Boysen, was disowned by his family, and they gave him one farm and said, go live there with your wife. Whatever you do there, we don't want to know what. But their love was so strong, and that is why I'm standing here today. My grandmother was a very strong woman herself. I'm named after her. My second name is Caroline. And she was the first black female to become a principal of the school. She then went on to do her own business, and she was also very clever to buy land for the family. In an interview was trust on the border of Rana, Tlabama and Botswana, and I believe the land in Botswana has got mineral rights, so business opportunities. And she made sure also very importantly there was spring water there, because she said whenever anything goes wrong, the family must be able to come home. And I think that's the amazing part about African women and South African women, that we don't realize how strong we really are. And if we really dig deep, I think we realize that we don't even know our own potential. I think my favorite quote is on The Little Prince. I read it in school, in primary school, that says, what lies before us and what lies behind us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And I'm fortunate to have had a little fairy or guardian angel land on my shoulder, and she sprinkled some fairy dust on me. Her name is Dudunsu. We met around a table when we were judging an retirement funds communications challenge. And this is one of the most unselfish women I've met. I mean, she knew me from nowhere. And she just gave so much of herself. And I was like, what did I do to deserve this? And our paths crossed even further when she joined the FSB as a board member, and when I've been working for 18 years. So I just always say, God bless the women that touch our lives. And when I think of them, I send up a little prayer to everybody. And Tendi's son, I actually met I think a news interview, and I was asking him before the time, please don't ask me a question about Felicia, I can't. But when I walked into the studio, I never met her before, and I just saw what a beautiful, warm person, inside and outside. And then she goes, so let's talk about Felicia. But then we met again, and I said to her, I know you. And I said, we met on a news show, and she said, was it good or bad? Was it? And I said, well, it wasn't too bad, but that's life. And so I'm just very fortunate also to be here today to share my history and background with everybody. So yes, so if you see me and I say this is my sister-in-law, she happens to be from London and she's Caucasian, and my husband is originally from Lesotho, so people say I'm Lesotho again. And then I've got my Afrikaner family and my Tswana family from up north. So it's really, truly, and I tell you, I grew up looking beyond just color, just looking at the hearts and minds of people. Thank you.
Morning, I'm Smita Mankal from India, and so happy to be here. What I do for a living, I'm actually in transition. I'm moving out of a mainstream corporate job where I worked with an Indian retail company that brought traditional handmade craft-based products from rural artisans and craftspeople to a very urban contemporary market. So it was fabulous. A very unique company and a very unique experience. I was there for over 11 years. I'm still doing consulting with them, but I'm also starting up my own consulting, really to bring together agents of change in every walk of life. And I look forward to actually so many opportunities that are going to come up, I know, around this room. Right now I'm consulting with a company that does organic teas and supplements and organic products in India, and looking at just new interesting consulting opportunities to bring together really people who make a difference. What I love and admire about the women of my country is, like you said, what makes women around the world really special, and that's a resilience and a strength that goes beyond anything. It's just a quiet, incredible emotional strength that they bring to any situation, and they get on with it. And I think our cultures carry so much history and so many experiences, and it's ingrained, it's deep-rooted, and somewhere that experience and the experience and history of generations comes through really to make them, kind of very complete, whole human beings that are actually leading the world. So, thank you.
Morning all. My name is Mpumi Kalinde. Born and bred in South Africa. I'm an independent consultant in the human capital space. More specifically, I love working with large-scale organizational transformations. What I like and admire about women of South Africa, maybe I should paint a picture. If you can picture the history we have from 1948 to 1993 as a country, what it did to us as human beings, what it did more specifically also to our husbands. And if you contrast that with the introductions that we've had today, that crystallizes what I like about women in South Africa. is the resilience, the agility that we have demonstrated. Within a period of 19 years, we've got entrepreneurs, very young people, much younger than me, who are saying, I'm running my own business. That is the type of woman that this country has. We agile, as I said, we are the dirtiest in the park. We shake our booty when it's necessary. We are very good homemakers because in some cases we're still having to deal with chauvinism and also the values that we were raised with. And we're able to balance all these things and still come out very successful. That's what I admire about all.
Good morning, my name is Mulina Musa, and I work for Brands Africa. So I earn my living by being part of a small team that passionately protects, manages, and every day tries to build the country's reputation and brand image. Thank you. I am South African. What I admire most about South African women, from the boardroom chairwoman, chairperson, chairman, whatever you want to call them, to the gogo, auntie or granny that feeds a huge family from a Asian family, is that people say we get on with it. We do it well, we do it calmly, and we do it with the spirit of resilience. I can't even, I could pull up a dictionary and describe South African women, but we do it, and we're happy to do it.
Hi, I'm Lindy Wadet. I'm a consultant with McKinsey & Co. I am South African, very proudly South African. And if I was to say what makes me love South African women or proud of South African women, I think it's something that I experience when I'm traveling. Just when you go outside of this country, you actually get a real picture of how much South African women have really achieved. I think when you go to other places, you start to really see that there are no women in senior positions in business. There are no women in senior positions in government. There are very few women who really succeeded as entrepreneurs. And it really makes me proud when I come back home and actually see how much South African women have actually really very quietly pushed. But what makes me really happy is the fact that we're actually really beginning to win the battle that we're actually fighting. So that's what I really love about South African women. I think we've even achieved in global context, like women in the United Nations, heading big global organizations. I think that's just really fantastic about what's the quality of what's South African women.
Good morning, I'm Virginia Palmer. I'm very American, but as you can tell by my accent, but I'm South African by marriage. So love South Africa very much as well. And Dudu, thanks for the opportunity to do this. This makes me think about my favorite American holiday, which is Thursday, which is Thanksgiving. And it's a time when we all, at my house, go around the table and say what we are grateful for. And I always try to have a big table like this with as many kind of people from all over the world as I can muster. And the thing that is always so moving is that we have so many things in common that we are grateful for. And I'm struck as we talk about what the women of our country mean to us by how much those values are in common for all of us. So I share your sense of perseverance and patriotism and home and family, sort of what we do as mothers and what our mothers and grandmothers mean to us. And I guess what I would say about America that I think might be special about America is this sort of naive, can-do sense that doesn't recognize obstacles. And it's not unique to America, of course, but it does characterize us. Thank you.